So just so you guys know, we do have handouts in your GoToWebinar control panel. So I just updated it last night, I believe. So you'll see the date on there is 4/20. The Collab Center got a huge update. So they took out some of the stuff that was just a little too lengthy and just made it a little sleeker and smoother for the membership. So if you guys want to go ahead and download that handout on the right-hand side, it is also in our MLS documents. You'll see here in the upper right-hand corner that we have the MLS documents. Select that link. And of course, because I work for the MLS and we have access to all the MLSs we vendor, go down to MiRealSource. Okay, in my MiRealSources folder, it's MIRS Education. I have 72 different cheat sheets in there. And I know we have some agents who are on here from our vendor MLSs, so it's part of our extended family. We've got Southeastern Border on here. I think eCar and Bay are both on board today as well. So here is the education folder. So remember, you guys don't have that uploaded in your docs just yet. I will get those to Colleen, your account rep, and she will get those uploaded to your MLS documents. So here is our folder, MIRS Education. And remember, they are sorted. Newest is up at the top. So the Collab Center, I just did it last night for 2020. All righty, that has the new instructions on there. Usually when I teach class, I start from the search icon and save our search, but you know what? The handout actually starts in the context module. So that's the way we are going to be starting class today. So do not forget, we have the questions in your GoToWebinar control panel as well. Everybody is muted. So if you'd like, we have quite a few on the webinar. So if you guys have a question, go ahead and you can click the little hand button that's there that's raising your hand. So if you'd like to be unmuted, I can certainly do that for you. Or feel free to answer or put a question into the questions box. So I am doing the webinar alone today, so I've got no backup answering my questions. So if I'm a little slow on that, just bear with me. All right, so it's about 5 past already, so let's go ahead and get moving. All right, so Collab Center. For those of you who don't know exactly what that is, or maybe exactly what it looks like for your clients. So Collab Center is how we get listings to our clients. It's also how we keep our sellers informed as well. So that's a really cool piece that was added last year, is the sellers. If you have a listing and you would like to add your seller onto this as well, that's a great thing to do. So I'm going to start off by showing you what the buyer's experience is. So right from my contacts module, I'm going to go to view and manage my contacts. Now I do have mine sorted. So I've got all mine at the top. If I scroll over to the right-hand side here, remember all of these columns are well, not all are sortable, but a lot of these columns are sortable. So all I did was click on last notified. So if I select that now, it's going to give me the oldest. Click it again. The newest will pop up at the top. Or I could put it on who accessed it the last. So, but either way for me, there's just a handful of people up here. All right, so for those of you who are familiar with this, you know, if you have the blue view site here, that'll get you to your client's site. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my sister's site. You know, that's the joy about being family. You are a guinea pig of mine. So my sister is on my notifications for this MLS. I have separate notifications for the Northern Great Lakes Realtors MLS, because you know we have access to NGLAR as well. I've got my brother set up on that one for demonstration purposes. All right, so here's the experience my sister has. In the top right, she's going to know who her agent is, me. And in here is the contact me information, and I want you to check to see what is in here. Because remember, this is some of the back end stuff that in the preferences wizard we will go through. So you'll now see where that stuff goes. So of course you got your headshot. It's got to be a square one when it's uploaded into Paragon or the Collab Center. If not, they will squish it to something that fits into their little box. My email address, my cell phone has been entered in here. If you don't have your cell number on file in here, simply contact tech support or membership and they will get that entered in for you. Now, I also have a secondary, or actually, no, this is my direct line at the office, and that's what I selected as my primary, not the main number, but my direct extension at MiRealSource. I also have in here, visit my site, because I have a website, so I put that in the settings. And again, if that's something you don't have, I think that's something that, depending on your board, might have to go through support or membership. Now, here's the really cool thing. They have all the social media links. I have added all of them in here, even though I don't tweet. I'm not on Instagram a lot, or that's LinkedIn. And then Instagram, I'm trying to get there. But Facebook is where I'm at. Remember, that's got to be your business page. So at any time, my clients can select here and find me. You don't have to have them in there. And if I only had Facebook added, only the Facebook link would show. Now, I did want to add in what a video looks like. Now, you guys know I handle the education here at MiRealSource. So this is one of the videos that I had created in our new agent onboarding. So I just pulled one of those and stuck it in here. I just wanted to see what it looks like. So if you've got a 2-minute video, a 1-minute video, 30-second video about yourself, you can host that on YouTube and put the link right here. You just copy the link and stick it over here. Of course, I know a lot of you are learning how to do that with your virtual showing and virtual open houses. All right, so also here we have welcome to my Collab Center site. That's standard. If you want to change it up, you certainly can, or if you have nothing, we've got something you can copy and paste and put in there. Or feel free to take a screenshot. This is what I love about webinars. Take a screenshot and retype it yourself. Also on my links, I have put things that are pertinent in my area. So I am in St. Clair, Michigan, way down in the southeastern side, or bottom of the thumb. So I wanted to put in things in my area. DTE Energy, some personal spots here like Water Brewery. They're right in the plaza downtown. And you'll notice that I have a name here and the website. So I had to physically change this to a name. Otherwise, it's going to be a URL and a URL, which is a little harder to read. I even added a video in here about staging, and it was something I found on YouTube that I thought would help clients. Okie dokie, and that's, you'll see. It took me a long time to develop this page, and you'll see I added Water Brewery in again. And usually class purposes, we do something like that. All right, my sister could actually add her headshot. I did that for her. So she is my buyer, and here is her activity. If she was also a seller, she would have seller activity right here. So all of her listing activity is updates. As you'll see, I've got her on my lottery search, you know, the good stuff. So if I'm going to make her my guinea pig, she's at least going to be looking at some nice listings. So any updates, they are all new for her. Nothing new over here. I think it just restarted her again. Oh, no favorites, no possibles, no rejects. And I haven't added any agent picks neither. We will get to that. All right. So a couple of the cool things, you understand this, clicking at listings, going through all that, but they give you a nice little snapshot here. This is great on a mobile device as well. It's very interactive. Just that selecting favorites, possibles, and rejects are a little harder on the phone. They just have to be a little bit more savvy. But a couple of things under here, view the detail, you understand that gets you to the full listing report. But under this additional options, what your client has the option to do, to email you, to comment to you. They can request a showing through you. It doesn't go to showing time, they can just request a showing. Your client also has the ability to share this listing out on Facebook. So, you know, you just want to make sure to see, you know, what that stuff looks like if they're going to be doing that. All right, and they also have a tile view and a map view. It's kind of nice, very nice, I like that. All right, so you'll see there's all the listings. They can mark them as faves, possibles, rejects. maybe even create their own folder. Favorite homes with pools. Who knows? All right, let's go ahead and exit out of your client's site. Actually, I do want to say, so there are recent sales. They are right here. So your clients do get to see what's been going on in the area. Any communications with you. I like to do my communications through HomeSnap. But again, I did do some here just to make sure I could show that for class to see, so you guys would see what that looks like. All righty, and if they did make any custom folders, they could find them here and elsewhere. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and close out of my client's Collab Center and go back to Paragon. So how on earth do we set up our clients on this really cool product? Because, you know, you can send your client a listing, but we just don't want to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and delete Betty Buyer. She's my test, who I tend to use her over and over and over again. All right, so from my contacts module, remember I'm still in my contacts tab, so I don't have to go back out to contacts and select add. It's all right here on the blue bar. You get a lot of actions right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a new client. All righty. So what's my client's first name? I'm gonna do test buyer. Now remember, you have to have an email address to get your clients on the Collab Center or any email communications. Test buyer. Oh, I do tab through the fields. That gets me the little green check that says, yep, looks like a valid email address. And then I do select with my space bar that it is a primary email address. Now, a little bit of extra information about the contact module. Remember, there was a lot of information in here. You can enter in a spouse. Let's see, their home address. So if they are a homeowner, you can add them to HomeBot. So that's something totally different that we haven't, it's been on a soft launch for a while now. It has a free trial, as you can see over here. It is really cool though. It's a drip campaign for homeowners, keeping you in front of them just to let them know how much their home is worth. So I do like it. It's a very interesting site. If they have an email or a website address over here on the right-hand side, contact information, and don't forget, you can manage your buyers and sellers here. I have groups that I personally created. This is something that you add. So I do want to add her to my buyers group, and even in my types, I'm going to add buyer as well. Reverse prospecting. Now, I can use this. So if Betty test buyer here is looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in St. Clair, and I allow reverse prospecting, and I'm gonna say, I gotta give her an alias, because if I have another listing agent that says, hey, I have a match, they're gonna know only the alias. So I'm gonna say Betty Boo. That's her nickname. Don't ask me where that came from, just came off the top of the head. And of course, you can always put source down here. So there's a lot of good information in your contacts module. Oh, listing book is in here. Did you get them from a magazine advertisement? A referral, social media. I'm gonna say this is social media. It's from my Facebook. For my Facebook posts. Love it. All right, now, once I hit save in the upper left, this is the opportunity when it's going to ask me, oh, did you want to associate a property with this contact? If I said yes to associate a property, it would come up to a list of my listings. This is only a buyer, not a seller. So I'm going to say not now. Now, as I say not now, it gets me into the wizard. So from here, I can just use the next button, because here's an overview of my contact. Any tasks, notes, documents. If I did a CMA, but that's the Paragon CMA, not exactly my favorite. You know, we like Cloud CMA. That's the one that we really, really like. And if I have any saved searches for this client, all the information would be right here, which we'll see that shortly. So as I go to the next, contact information, we were just there. Buyer activity, it goes right down to add a search. And so here's my two options. Do I want to add a new search or load an existing saved search? So I want to do a new search. It's going to be residential. All right, so I can type and tab my way through here. I am at heart a desk jockey. So I can just type in residential, I type in R, hit the tab key. As you'll see, I don't have to move my mouse. And I tab through my fields. I can type in A and hit enter or tab. I tab through my fields again. So that's what I love about Paragon, that I can type and tab my way through all of this. So now remember, I can either search by map, or I can put in the municipality, or see a couple of different ways that I can search. I can even search just by school district. I could do East China School District, but what I want to do, actually, let's remove East China out of here. And remember, if you add in something to your search criteria that you really don't want, here's a nice easy way in your summary. Hit the red X and it removes it right out of it. Because I love searching by the map, because I think the mapping is such a really good tool. So I'm going to click into the map. All right, so here's the deal. Your new client just got a new job in, well, let's see, do we want to say St. Clair? Here in the beautiful town of St. Clair. So, and you'll notice this is not where MiRealSource is, because generally when the mapping opens up, it opens up to where your office is located. And it might not be the one you're actually working out of, if you missed my air quotes, but it is the one that the system recognizes you in. So if you work out of your office, like we do nowadays, or if you're typically working in a different area, say if Romeo or Macomb or Oakland or anywhere was my base, I could change that in my preferences wizard. So I love the wizard because it walks you through everything instead of trying to poke around. I learned my lesson on that years away after poking and poking and poking and getting too frustrated. So I like the wizard. So in the wizard, I changed it to my home address. And so we'll say that this is where my client wants to live. So either I could have an address, or maybe they just want to be in St. Clair, Michigan. So I'm going to type a city and a state up here. And to make the map move, I just hit return. And now it's going to be at the center of town. Well, you know, if you count Canada over here. So what I want to do is I can either do a mile radius up here, or I can actually draw out a little area. So let's draw it today. So I'm going to draw a polygon. I love polygons because they're very, very interesting. Let's see, a little bit further north, maybe I want to hit the golf course up here. All right, so I'm going to start out in the water. I'm going to click once to start. Go down here, down this road. So I want to stay close to the main roads, close-ish to town. Now, every time I want to make my map turn, I just click. So I click, and I take a turn, go down this way. There we go. I think this is pretty representative. I'm going to just follow up the water. I'm going to click and drag to move my map back down. That's one of those learned things, how to move and draw at the same time. All right, and here is where my client wants to live, around the golf course and some of the closer to town in St. Clair. All righty, now I'm going to search the radius here. So you'll see all the homes we have on the map now. But remember, we didn't have any criteria but residential, active, and now a map. Maybe this $1 million home is going to be a little out of my price range. One never knows. So up under the blue bar here, I'm going to go back to that criteria page. And remember, all of these criteria are also customizable. So if you want to change any of this stuff, go right ahead, but not during a search. You're going to remove your criteria. So the map is what we just added. For sale or for rent, well, you know, I don't have to make a choice, because if I'm choosing $250,000, I'm automatically getting out any rentals. We're going to go to 500 and see what, okay, we still have 7 listings. Not too shabby. Okay. All right. I know it's a big range. For those of you who are like, wow, that's a big range. Well, you know, I'm fishing. All right. Structure style, 1 story, 1.5 story, 2 story. What do you want? Condos. I'm sorry, that's in a different way. I was thinking of multi-stories. Bedrooms. She at least wants 3 bedrooms. So I'm going to type in 3 is my minimum. I don't have to have a maximum. Bathrooms total. Now, if your client must have 2 full baths and anything beyond that is just extra, this is not the box you're going to be using. As I scroll all the way down, and you'll love this one. It took me a minute to figure this out. So here's secondary criteria all the way at the bottom left. I would click into here and nothing would happen. See, I click, nothing happens because I didn't realize that it opened up. I know it was I'd say it was a blonde moment, but I'm a redhead, so. But under your secondary criteria, there is your bathrooms full. So if full baths is what you typically use, we can get that moved out of this container and up to the top for you. So, but my client doesn't really matter. As long as she has 2 bathrooms somehow, some way, 1.5 or 2, that's fine. Basement, of course. Oh, we lost one on that one. All righty. And even things like fireplace. As much as I would never buy a house without a fireplace, I have 4. So if I type in yes, I lost another one. And you know, sometimes I find that those are missed on the listings. So that's one reason why I don't always use this one. As much as it's a mandatory thing for my buyer, we're just gonna show her, let her know that we're gonna search for with or without, just in case. And you guys know the feature codes. This is where you can search for financing options. I'll open up the magnifying glass for you guys. This is, oh, see, if your appliances stay. This is everything and anything that you can imagine putting into a listing. Now, as the listing agent, put anything and everything into the listing you can imagine. That's true. As the buyer's agent, you must be more cautious about putting in so much criteria that you will never find your dream home. So your bath descriptions, dining and kitchen, foundation type. Let's see, financial terms, there you are. Land contract, FHA, any of those. So remember, that's where you're going to be finding those. And one of the things I do like to mention, so I'm going to type in golf. Now, there is golf course mentioned twice in my MLS. Some of you might have slightly different feature codes. Now, I wanted you to understand this simply because this golf course is under ZA, this golf course is under F. So one is the feature of the land, and the other one is the feature of the association. So if I buy a condo or a site condo in an association, or or in a golf course community that has access to the golf course, that could be one. And the other one that says, hey, looking out my backyard window, there is a golf course there. So that's why you have to look at the header. F17 would be what? F is the association or community amenities. So that's why you have to understand which ones are which. All righty. Garage. Let's go ahead and throw a 2-car garage in there. And above grade square footage. Let's see, 2,500. Oh gosh. Now we're down to, see if we can reduce that just a little. Okay, at least we have 3. Okay. So, and that's the joys of searching in a small community. All righty. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit search. And now you'll see it automatically gives me the information up here. Do I want to save the search or add it to a cart? Now, generally saving a search is what you're going to be doing. Adding to a cart could be, so for me, I use the cart as the agent recommended. So usually if I find a listing right outside of my client's search criteria, what she was searching up to 500, say I found a home for 560, whatever, just a little above. I guess 60,000 is not a little above, but maybe I would want to bring it to my client's attention and send it to them. I would put it in the listing cart, and it goes into their Collab center. So that way, if a price reduction happens, they will get notified. That's actually how I bought my home. It was overpriced. When it came to a $20,000 price reduction, I got a notice and we put in an offer. And voila, I wasn't even a buyer at the time. It's just a looky-loo. See what happens when you do this? All righty. So now we are going to save the search. And I don't like the save search for test buyer. Well, I want to do test buyer, but I'm a name and date kind of person. That's just how I roll. I'm sure you all have your own naming conventions. Now remember, if you miss a step, if you blink at the wrong time, or a bird flies outside of your window and you look away at the wrong moment, just let me know. I will be more than happy to repeat my steps. All right, so here's where it is now so simplified. So once I saved that search, it brought me right to where I needed to be. I can simply send my welcome message. And end of story. That's all I need to do. Now, however, remember before we used to have the opportunity to set up, when does my client want to receive their notifications and when do I want to receive my notifications? Well, you still do. They're right here. So I'll check into the settings. Because remember, these are set on default here. What is going to trigger a notification to your client? Price changes, new matches, any new comments, and I've also selected status changes. Because sometimes when the market is moving so quickly, a listing can come on the market as active, and then 3 hours later, it's pending. So I also want my client to know that oh, you liked it 3 hours ago, it's already been pending. So they now have an understanding that they will need to move a little quicker, or at least they'll know how quickly the market is moving. Okay, now here are the two different ones. Okay, so client notifications are immediately or recurring. Now here is my notifications. Now they moved this up. It used to be all the way at the very bottom. So now, and people would just miss it. That's all there was to it. So my agent notifications, I don't want to get emails all day long. I'm gonna set up mine as recurring. I like mine coming in once a day. And so as I set the time, because remember, if your client goes to lunch at 11:30 and that's when they want to receive their notifications, bingo, you can do that. So in my preferences wizard, actually this is the Collab wizard, notice preferences, I set my notifications always to be 7 a.m. because I don't want to go changing this every single time. So I click the notification schedule, automatically comes up to 7 a.m. and I say, okay. All right, it's gonna be sent to my test buyer. And I don't need to BCC myself, or if there was a spouse or a parent or whoever, their BFF that would like to get a CC on this one, they can be added here as well. And that can also be added into their contact manager itself. All right. And then your subject line, this is the activity notification for your collaboration center site. That clears the Can Spam Act, but I'm also going to do your St. Clair search. I do want to customize it a wee bit so they know which one, in case they're doing a lot. All right, so I'm gonna hit OK and send my welcome message. Now remember, this is blank. However, it is not really blank. I'm going to preview this so you guys see exactly what my client is going to see. All right, again, my headshot. Here's a good reason why to always make sure to spell your buyer's name correctly. Always my contact information up at the top. This is branded to me. Scroll down, there we are. 3 matches were found. Where did they come from? Here's those agent picks. That's the agent recommended. That's how you use those listing cards. Categories, favorite possible reject, you know that. Communications, folders, they do have to create a password. All right, and again, contact information and branding. I'm always branding everything. And remember, if you have changed brokerages, please make sure to get in there and change your information. Because remember, your signature lines can be yours and yours alone, and especially your company logo. It could still be stuck on the old one. So you have to double check that kind of stuff. Now, just so you know, on the preview, this still says Google Plus. That was kiboshed a while back. That is now Instagram. They just haven't changed this one little piece yet. It's just a preview. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and close and send. See, now remember, I did a couple extra steps. I just wanted to make sure that the timing to my client was good. I wanted to preview my email. I could honestly just save the search and hit send. But in class, I'm going to give you a little bit more information on that. And this does go step by step along with your handout for the day too. All right. So remember, when you click send the email, you're going to want to make sure that you've got your green bar across the top that says, yes, you completed your task. All right, let's go ahead and close this out. All right, so some of the other things that I wanted to show you were, all righty. So I want to show you exactly what's on the handout today. I mean, I know that you can see that yourself. However, on your handout, adding the client, we've got that associating the seller's property. It's pretty easy. When that pops open, if you've got 5 listings, well, then you'll have 5 to choose from. If you've got 1 listing, it's not going to be all that hard. So let's go down. So when you do that, you are going to have 2 things to do to associate that seller's property. You want to enable the sell site for your client. So that's back in the Collab Center. So they have a buyer side and a seller side. And in that seller side, you can see what other homes are selling like in the area. And then if you'd like, you can enable an email report to your client as well, so they keep up to date as to what's going on. All righty. Add your new search, notifications. Now here's your extras. So we want to do that agent recommended. We had talked about a little bit before, and then we are going to find a listing and do an agent recommended listing for you. So let's go ahead and do that step now. So I'm going to go back to Paragon, close out this notification. So I'm going to go to my home, because I've got my market monitor right here. And you know what? I can move around my home page too. So if I like my market monitor at the top, I'm simply going to click and drag up here. Now remember, you've got your showing time notifications here. This one says that, hey, I've got someone that wants some feedback. So I need to get to that. And here's any feedback that I've received from showing time. So those are really cool pieces. All right, so in my market monitor, which is set up for my area. Oh, hey, in case y'all don't know yet, so I just released that in my education corner today. Pending sales right here in the market monitor have traditionally been a total number. So if you see I move from 3 to 5 and then hit refresh, the 193 does not move because that's total number of pending sales. We've had some requests, especially in the market right now, to change this to, we want it to read how many pending sales have gone in the last 5 days. So that's what that will reflect. I believe Wednesday, Brian will be making that change. So that's kind of cool. All right, so I'm just going to pick one of the new listings. And for giggles, I always love to go to the bottom and find the most expensive listing. But I do want to find my MiRealSource listing. What are we at, 5,000? That's one of ours. If you're not sure what the numbering, if you would like, if you want to put in originating MLS up here, you can customize this. The fields, that's really what you're going to do is the fields, and add in originating MLS. I can also put the listing agent in here and the listing company. So that's always some good things as well. So I'm going to pull this one, Brockway Township, okie doke. Alrighty. So if I realized, oh, this is the listing for my client, I just got to, or maybe they hate yellow. Okay, let's just go find the most expensive listing. Alrighty. I like close to the water. It might be on the water, maybe not. I would say on the water. You know, this one's just a little outside of your price range by $600, by $100,000. That's it. That's it. You know, I really think you want to take a peek at this. If you could stretch your budget, I'd love it. So I'm going to select this listing by checking the little box. And off the blue bar, I am going to save this listing. So I'm going to save, but remember, I'm going to do this to that listing cart. So the listing cart is where I'm going to make this an agent recommended. So it's not for me, but for my contact. Oh, I have 2 listings. Okay. I'm going to do the current though, because remember I accidentally clicked on that one. Now select a contact. Either I can type a new one in, but no need to, I have her. No, she was test buyer today. There we go. And save. But you know, there's actually one thing that has been missed. So we set up notifications on just regular listings. I'm going to go back to my contacts module. So that's why sometimes we just recommend to do, I'm going to hit next on the right, recommend doing the agent recommended as well. So now here are my automatic notifications. This is going to go in the Collab Center. Settings. Let's see. Immediately. Yeah, you know, for agent recommended, I'll go immediately. I'm okay with that. Oh, that's right. Here's a new one too. I can also manage the listings from right here. So I can add or remove right out of the Collab Center. One of my trainers had a problem with it. She's like, why do I have to go here, here, and there to do this? I'm like, yeah, I gotcha. And it looks like I do not need to turn on my Collab Center notifications on this one. Yes, I was hoping that they made this change. I wasn't able to test this one yesterday, so yay. Because that's one thing that people would always forget. All right, so I'm going to go back to the market monitor to that listing that I was on. So here's the listing that has now been added to my client's recommended. Okay, so out of the context, I'm going to make sure to get out of test buyer. Test buyer. I hope did I put my agent recommended in the right one? Got too many dang test buyers in here, so let's delete that one. Yep, test client. As you can see, I was playing around with this a little too much yesterday. All right, so let's go into my test buyer and view her site. And now you'll see what that agent recommended looks like. And you'll see I picked the wrong one. That's why you always independently verify. For any of you who knows my boss, it is independently verified. So I'm going to save this again. Not share, save. Contact, current, buyer, test buyer. Now save. Cool. Okay, so now this should have gone. If we refresh the contacts, you will see. And sometimes you just want to make sure to go out and back in again, just to refresh to make sure that you have everything. That's why we independently verify. All right, so now there are 4 listings over here because there were 3 to begin with, and we just added that agent recommended in there, so that makes a 4 total. And you will see, I'll put this up a little bit for you guys. All 4 are in the undecided category. No favorites, possibles, or rejects as of yet, because my client just got the notification. So, and you'll see that this will populate here in a minute. All right, And let's go and view the site now. Alrighty. Still loading. Someday. And this is where you say, oh, the joys of a live class. But it is a good opportunity to take a sip of coffee. Okay, bailing on that one. Let's try it one more time. Okie dokie. Nothing. Okay. Fantastic. Love it. Okay. Something obviously went wrong there. All right. So test buyer, she's now been set up. One of the reasons why that you want to train your clients to mark these as favorites, possibles, and rejects are for these particular reasons over here. So, and usually in class, I would say something like, oh, you know, when you select, okay, so these are going to be the 14 favorites. Now I'm going to go with the 8, a little less there. All right, so I'm going to say to my client, hey, Kelly, you know, I see you have 8 favorites there. Would you like to go see those listings? She's like, yeah, I don't know which ones they are. Now we got a duplicate in here. All righty. And I said, that's okay, you know, I've got those. Let's go ahead and do a couple of listings in, these are all over the place. One in Saginaw, we're going to go everywhere. One in Saginaw, one in, oh, East China and St. Clair, there we go. And then Lake Angeles. Now, soon as the showing time link is put back in play, you'll be able to select your actions button and select all of these for showing time at the same time. The button's not there, so we can't show you. However, if you wanted to do a CMA or maybe even a buyer tour, so you can take all of these listings and they'll go right into Cloud CMA to do a really beautiful buyer tour for your client. There's also driving directions, but remember, showing time does that for you as well. So those are some really sweet things that you can do. And that's why I like to make sure that my clients do mark them as favorites, possibles, and rejects. It's just a good folder system. Okie doke. Last, I want to show you over on the cheat sheet. So we did the agent recommended. What happens if you have a client that says, Debbie, if you show me one more yellow house, I'm going to fire you? Or how about if you show me another home without a fireplace, blah, 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 you know, like fenced in yard. A lot of times things like that are missed. So maybe I want to preview these listings before they go to my client because my client is pretty picky. She thinks I'm supposed to be doing that job for her. Crazy, huh? All right. So my client, let's go back into my context, even though I just closed her out. View and manage. So what happens if now all of a sudden my test buyer is a pain in the butt? So that's the one all the way at the top here. So you'll see, I want to show you what it looks like. Debbie Gmail Fajardo is a pain in my butt. You'll see that there is an approve button here. Debbie Fajardo, Debbie Gmail Fajardo here has been set up on agent preview. So it has to come to me for approval before it goes to my client. So you'll see that there are 6 that were disapproved. There are still 12 that need approval. So I'm going to go in and look at the 12. I'm going to go in individually look at every photo. And if I either see A, it's not a yellow home, B, that it does or doesn't have a fenced in yard or a fireplace or whatever the criteria may be, or, you know, just what does my client need? I have that capability of doing here. So I'm going to say, yep, approve this one. And now that's going to get sent right out to my client. So I can do these one at a time, or I can select them all and say, just send them. Of course, that kind of negates the whole thing of the agent preview. So that's why it is so very, very important to have good photographs. You know, maybe they want, oh, nice. Maybe they want to make sure that the neighbors aren't exactly too close. Or, hey, you know, I was really looking for a basketball court in the backyard. Awesome. All right. So, but these are the type things that you'll want that it's used for. So I'm going to go back and show you how to set that up. So we're going to use the test buyer again. So I'm going to go right into my client's name. And remember, there is always the next button on the right-hand side. If it's not one, it's wanting to stay right out of touch there. Okay, so I'm going to hit the next. And that will get me into my contact information. There you go. So the very top, well, first thing, if your client does not want to receive emails anymore, you can simply inactivate them right here. So your Collab Center search options. Everybody's defaulted to new only unless you go and change it. And there is the agent preview. So if you would like to turn this client on to, hey, look, anything new comes up, I want to see it first. So you can always either set it right up to the get-go. If you want, I will look at everything. Because I still see listing agents or buyer's agents who run a search, a new search every day. So I run a new search in the MLS, and I break out the stuff that they had already seen, and then I select the ones that I think that they should see. Wow, you do that? That is a lot of work. And for me, if you've got the search criteria set, and you know, they can even do their own searches as well. That's what HomeSnap is there for too. So set up the search and then turn it over to an agent preview. So agent preview, that's all you got to do now. And hit save. So now, still, I don't need to associate a property. You're trying to make sure that you learn that piece. Anything that is going to come up for this client will come to me first. It will be an agent preview. So that's going to be in your agent notifications. So if my agent notifications for this client are only set to go at 7 a.m. every single day, then that's all I'm getting. So you have to be aware of your notifications. If my client wants to see these agent previews as soon as they come up, then my notifications need to be immediately. So I can see that, I can approve it or disapprove, and it goes to my client. So that's the one thing that you need to remember on that. All right, so what else is on your handout? Viewing your client site, we've got that one. Customizing your Collab Center. Okay, now remember, your Collab Center wizard has all the cool things in there. Your links, your social media links, your telephone contact, and all that. So let's go ahead and go through. There's a few points I would like to hit on in your Collab Center wizard. Okay, so from your preferences icon, and you will see Collab Center Preferences Wizard. Select that. This is the easiest way. I'm a huge fan of the wizard, unless you remember which page is where. Then yay, more power to you. That's fantastic. I just find this is the easiest way to do is I hit start. I can change my name here because my licensee name is Deborah. Nobody calls me Deborah. Except my daughter, she's now taken a liking to calling me Deborah. Yeah, thanks. Totally appreciate that. So I keep my first name and my maiden name there. Displaying my primary number, yes. And remember, this is only my agent information. So this is nothing about the office. My cell phone. Here is my secondary phone number. Now that is the direct line at the office. So I can notice that on there or note that. Yes, I'm going to put my email address. Yes, I want to display my web page. Yes, I want to display that story. So, and if I say yes to the story, the link is down here. It should be right there, but that's a different line. Doesn't matter to me. So remember, here is my YouTube. I uploaded that video to YouTube, then simply copied the share link and put it right here. Those are a lot of the same steps you guys are going to be doing with your virtual showings and virtual open houses these days, is you're going to be adding a link into those particular items that you need, whether it's a showing or an open house. Remember, don't forget to hit this afternoon's class is the remote and paperless agent. That's Colleen DeLang, Chris Van Bell, and our CEO, Dave DeReese, are hosting that. It's actually a 2-hour seminar, so if you've got the time to hang out for that, go for it. All right, Facebook link. I'm a huge cheat. I'm not going to retype all of this stuff, really not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to go find that link. I'm going to go to Facebook, and I'm simply going to find my business page. In my drop-down menu, Wines, Big Red Homes. There we go. For those of you who know me, Big Red is my nickname. You'll find it on the back of my car and my Harley. That's just who I am. So here's my simple cheat. I'm going to tap into the URL at the very top. I'm going to right click and say copy. I'm going to go back to Paragon. And so if this wasn't here, I would just simply right click and paste. And I'll do the same thing at Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. I will go to that page, click into the URL, copy, paste over here. Nice and simple. I'm a huge fan of as short as I can do this. Copy and paste, copy and paste. That way I'm not going to screw it up. Now remember when I mentioned your headshot needs to be a square? That's why there is a crop tool here. So a lot of you do have rectangular headshots. They'll squish it into a square. And trust me, I don't look very cute as a squished square. So that's why I cropped it into a square using their crop tool here. Okay, so that's your agent page. There's a lot of great information there. Trying to move on to the next page. Come on. There we are. So this is the About Me page. That's at Welcome to my Collab Center. Now, if you don't have this in here, type in your questions. Hey, Deb, send me the welcome letter. And I will make sure, because I have all your email information. If you're not my direct member, you're one of our vendor MLSs, or if you're a realtor, I can find you. Trust me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click next. Here are all of my links. So there's the Water Brewery that I had in twice. So I can simply select it and delete it. I can alphabetize these as well. There's my Big Red Homes. I have Blue Water Chamber of Commerce, weather, whole 9 yards. Now again, I am simply going to cheat. All right, so here we are. I'm gonna delete mine, Wines for Humanity. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a new page. This is how we do it. This is how I cheat. I'm sure there's other people do it other way. I'm gonna go right to my Wines for Humanity page. Okay, copy. So as I click into here, that's gonna select them all. Right click to copy. Going back to Paragon. You actually gotta click add first. So let's add this new one in. I'm gonna paste right over that. Now, I do not want the name to show up as this, besides that's WF. I don't really want it to look like that. Who can read that? That doesn't look like anything. So I'm gonna uncheck this so I can give it a name. call it what you want, hit save, and now you will see it says Wines for Humanity, blah, blah, blah. Instead of this is hard to read, so why use that? You want it legible for your clients. And remember, you can use upper and lowercase even in your URL, because you will see mine. Oh, well, that's odd. That might be something new. Oh, I'm digging this. Because look, the URL was changed over here too. Oh, I love making new discoveries. Because remember, last Wednesday, they just did an update on the Collab Center, and I'm so excited. But you know, I taught orientation that day, and I forgot to get brushed up on all the new changes. So yeah, I gotta love it when I have a surprise in class. That's okay. All right, your next page is office information. Do not forget your license law when doing this. Primary phone number, so you don't have to display them all, but you do have to display at least either A, your phone number, B, your address. I think those are the two. And of course, you know, I like to do the logo. So if you're actually working out of a different office, say you're licensed out of the St. Clair office, but working, air quotes, out of the Macomb office, maybe I wouldn't put my address up there. I'm going to display the phone number. That's the main office. If there was a secondary number, if it was different, I'm going to display my office address and my office logo. So I do want all of those being shown. Okay, moving on to page 6. Here's the cool piece. Now this is where you set up, number 1, your agent notification options. So what do you, the listing agent, or sorry, you, the buyer's agent, want to get notified on? And then your client. So what does your client want to get notifications on too? So as I set up a client and put them on automatic notifications, my client, I'm going to start at the bottom today. My client is going to get, of course, any new listings. On that price change, how about a status change? I don't really care about a new photo being added. That would, because I know some people will save their listing and then immediately add a photo. And that just creates too many emails. And that's just, I don't think it's smart. I do not want my clients to be notified of an open house. I will take them on a tour myself. And then how about any comment added by me, the agent? Now, me, the agent, what do I want to get notified on about my clients? If there's a new listing, if there's a price change, I don't really care about the status change. I want to be notified of any open houses, because if there's an open house on a home that meets my client's criteria, I want to know. I don't want my clients accidentally stumbling into that open house. All right, I do want to know if there's a favorite on their listings. And I've had some agents that, you know, because I used to only have favorites. And it was Don Waldrop who said, you know, Debbie, I have a lot of clients that nothing rises to the occasion of a favorite. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, hey, well, you know, maybe adding in possibles is good too. And comments. And then if my client creates a new search in the Collab Center, I do want to be notified about that. I don't see many clients doing that. Tim Vetters, who used to be in our tech support, he did. I just don't see it a lot. Of course, I don't work with a lot of clients outside of my own family, because I am staff at the MLS. Okay, moving on to the last page. When my clients do a search in their Collab Center, so they are allowed to create a new search. They can't modify what I've done. So they can search in residential and condo. They can search in vacant land. I don't do manufactured homes. I do not have a used car license. I don't work in commercial, so I just don't even allow that. And of course, multifamilies. So remember, you'll want to make those selections because the default is only residential. All righty. And I'm only allowing my clients to search on active and pending. I am not there, unless I'm working with rehab, maybe they'll want to look a little bit more into closed, because if that's the market, then that's the market. But for my clients, I only want them to see the actives and the pendings. Any more than that, and their search is just going to be too busy with too much stuff to filter through. And I don't want them to work that hard. Okay, going to the next page. Zestimate and the easy value. Now we are missing one in here, the RPR valuation. That is the RVM, Realtor's Valuation. So that was dropped out of there a little bit ago. We did put a request to put that back in. We were missed some crazy way, but it will be back in there. So this is something your clients do see. And that's why I like having 3, because it's always best to choose from an odd number for as far as I'm concerned. So the easy value is something from Paragon. Zestimate, I think you're all pretty familiar with where that comes from. That's a Zillow. So if you do not want your clients to see these, simply unselect them. It's that easy. Now this is a all or nothing. So as soon as my RPR, the RVM comes back in here again, that would be automatically selected to on. So your clients can see it on the back page or at the very end of their search. They are there. All right, and congratulations. So that is your preferences wizard. All right, so let's go back to your cheat sheet for today. All right, so you customized your Collab Center, and then there were the more deeper instructions on there. So moving to the top, okay, in that top section, we added a client. We did not have a property to associate. We didn't have the listing for this client as well. We created and added that search, and we set up the notifications. All right, and then those extras, we did an agent recommended. So we found a listing and put it into their Collab Center, and I found something awesome that we don't have to set up additional notifications on that. So that's absolutely fantastic. Previewing a listing before your clients see them. So remember, we still set up a search for your client, but now instead of everything going to your client, it comes to you for approval or denial. You've checked out your client's site, here it is. And it looks like nobody asked me for the Collab Center welcome message. So I'm glad that all of yours are there. A long time ago, when the Collab Center was first introduced, it was Client Connect. They didn't all have them in there. So I'm glad that all of you guys have them there. That is absolutely fantastic. And that's good to go. Yep, so look, we are just past, oh, it has been exactly 1 hour. We started at 5 past. So I knew we would be able to get through this with 1 hour. Remember, you have your cheat sheet here. I will be reaching out to Colleen if you are not a member of MiRealSource, but one of our vendor MLSs or sister MLSs. I will ask Colleen DeLang, your account rep, to get that into your MLS documents as well. And where do we find all of our cheat sheets? I'm going back to Paragon. At the very top, MLS documents. And I will go down to just the MiRealSource folder. And top right is always me, education, MIRS education. I have 72 cheat sheets in there. So if you're looking for something for Collab, just type in Collab. Everything on the Collaboration Center will come in there. Or if you're looking for a CMA, everything associated with doing CMAs is in here. So we have a ton of cheat sheets, and we have also uploaded them to every single webinar, so you guys have that as well. Now remember, we have the remote and paperless agent today. Tomorrow we have no webinars for the first time. You guys know that we completed our 40th webinar on Friday. Since we were all locked out of the offices and locked in at home, we pivoted and started doing webinars for all of the membership right off the bat. So that was absolutely fantastic. And then on Thursday, we have Mixing It Up with MiRealSource, which is about 45 minutes to an hour. And then in the afternoon of Thursday, we've got that virtual showings and open houses, which that is new every single week, because as we get information from the governor and other MLSs and showing time, and as we keep refining the process, we will keep disseminating that information to you. All right, so if you guys don't have any other questions, then I guess we can call it good. So are there any other questions? Okay. All right, so after the webinar closes, there will be a class survey that pops up. Please, if you have anything to say, good or bad, please let me know. We do read those. So I thank you all for joining in on the webinar, and we will be seeing you at the next one. Oh, thanks, Matt. It was great seeing you again. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.